the collective consciousness knowledge not many people know about. Hello, you amazing people, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something that's happening right before our eyes, but most people don't realise the profound spiritual implications. You've probably noticed it. Hand a 3-year-old an iPhone and they'll navigate it better than their grandparents. Each generation seems to arrive on Earth with abilities and knowledge that previous generations had to learn the hard way. This isn't just about technology, it's about something far more extraordinary. We're witnessing the evolution of human consciousness in real time, and it's happening through what scientists call morphic fields and what spiritual teachers call the collective consciousness. Once you understand this, you'll never look at children the same way again. Here's what's really happening. There's an invisible field of information that surrounds our planet. Think of it as a cosmic internet that every human being's connected to. When enough people learn something, master something, or evolve in a particular way, that information becomes available to everyone else through this field. It's like the universe is upgrading its operating system, and each new generation gets born with the latest software. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake's research on morphic resonance shows us that when patterns of behaviour or knowledge reach a certain threshold in a population, they become easier for others to access. The classic example is the 4-minute mile. For centuries, running a mile in under 4 minutes was considered physically impossible. Then in 1954, Roger Bannister broke that barrier. But here's the extraordinary part. Within just 2 years, 37 other runners had also broken the 4-minute mile. It wasn't that humans suddenly became faster. It was that the limiting belief had been shattered in the collective consciousness. The same thing happened with the 100th monkey phenomenon. Scientists observed that when a certain number of monkeys on one island learned to wash sweet potatoes, monkeys on completely separate islands suddenly started washing their potatoes too, without any physical contact or teaching. The behaviour had reached critical mass in the collective consciousness and became accessible to all. Now think about children and technology. When the first iPhone was released in 2007, adults had to learn how to use it. We read manuals, watched tutorials, and slowly adapted our motor skills and mental models. But children born after that time seem to intuitively understand touchscreens, apps, and digital interfaces. They're not learning it, they're accessing it from the collective consciousness. Joe Dispenza's research on neuroplasticity shows us that our brains are constantly rewiring themselves based on our experiences. But what's happening with children is even more extraordinary. They're arriving with neural pathways that are already optimized for the current state of human knowledge and technology. Their brains are literally pre-wired for the world they're born into. This is why each generation seems more advanced than the previous one. It's not just better education or more resources, it's that they're downloading the accumulated wisdom and capabilities of all previous generations through the collective consciousness. They're starting from a higher baseline because human consciousness itself is evolving. Think about it. Children today have an intuitive understanding of concepts that were revolutionary just decades ago. They grasp multitasking, visual spatial reasoning, and abstract thinking in ways that would have been considered genius level in previous generations. They're not smarter than their parents. They're accessing a more evolved version of human consciousness. Abraham Hicks teaches us that we're all connected to infinite intelligence, and that this connection is becoming stronger and more accessible with each generation. The veil between individual consciousness and collective consciousness is thinning, which is why children today seem to have access to information and abilities that previous generations had to work lifetimes to develop. But here's what's really beautiful about this. It's not just happening with children. The same collective consciousness that allows kids to intuitively use technology is available to you right now. You can tap into this field of accumulated human knowledge and experience. You can access the breakthroughs, the wisdom, and the capabilities that others have developed. This is actually how manifestation works on a deeper level. When you want to develop a new skill, create a new reality, or embody a new way of being, you're not creating something from nothing. You're accessing patterns and possibilities that already exist in the collective consciousness. Someone, somewhere, has already figured out how to be financially free, how to have loving relationships, how to live with purpose and joy. Their success creates a pathway in the collective consciousness that you can follow. The HeartMath Institute has discovered that when we're in a state of heart coherence, when our heart, mind, and emotions are in sync, we naturally attune to higher frequencies of information and possibility. This is how you can access the collective consciousness intentionally. When you meditate, when you visualize, when you practice gratitude, you're raising your vibration to match the frequency of the solutions and possibilities you're seeking. Here's how you can start tapping into this collective intelligence right now. First, understand that every challenge you're facing has already been solved by someone else. Every goal you want to achieve has already been achieved by someone else. Every way of being you want to embody has already been embodied by someone else. This isn't about copying others. It's about accessing the energetic blueprint of what's possible. When you're trying to learn something new, instead of struggling with it from a place of, I don't know how, approach it from a place of, someone knows how to do this, and I can access that knowledge. Before you start, place your hand on your heart and say, I am connected to all knowledge and all possibilities. I easily access the wisdom I need. Then trust that the information will come to you. You can also use this understanding to accelerate your manifestation practice. Instead of trying to figure out how to create what you want, attune to the version of reality where someone already has it. Feel into the energy of financial abundance, not as something you're trying to create, but as something that already exists in the collective consciousness. Feel into the energy of perfect health, loving relationships, creative success, as realities are already available for you to access. This is why visualization is so powerful. When you visualize yourself living your desired reality, you're not just daydreaming. You're attuning to the frequency of that reality in the collective consciousness. You're aligning yourself with the version of the morphic field where that reality already exists. Children are so good at this because they haven't yet been taught that certain things are impossible. They haven't developed the mental barriers that adults have about what they can and cannot access. They're naturally connected to the collective consciousness because they haven't learned to doubt their connection to it. But you can reclaim this childlike openness. You can remember that you're connected to infinite intelligence, that you have access to all the wisdom and capabilities that have ever been developed. You can approach new challenges with curiosity instead of fear, with expectation instead of doubt. Here's a powerful practice. When you're facing a challenge or trying to learn something new, instead of saying, I don't know how to do this, say, I am learning to access the knowledge of how to do this. Instead of this is too hard, say, someone has figured this out and I can access their understanding. Instead of I'm not capable, say, I am connected to all capability. This isn't about bypassing effort or discipline. It's about understanding that you're not starting from zero. You're starting from the accumulated wisdom of all humanity. You're building on the foundation of everyone who has ever lived, learned, and evolved. You're part of a collective consciousness that is constantly expanding and upgrading itself. This is why breakthrough moments often feel like remembering rather than learning. When you suddenly understand something that was previously confusing, when you have an insight that solves a problem you've been struggling with, when you discover a talent you didn't know you had, you're not creating something new. You're accessing something that was already there in the collective consciousness. The children being born today are arriving with access to more advanced software because human consciousness itself has evolved. But that same upgraded consciousness is available to you right now. You don't have to wait for the next generation to access higher levels of knowledge, creativity, and possibility. Every time someone breaks a barrier, overcomes a limitation, or discovers a new way of being, they make it easier for everyone else to do the same. Every time you expand your own consciousness, you contribute to the collective upgrading of human potential. Your growth isn't just personal, it's serving the evolution of our entire species. This is why it's so important to believe in possibilities that seem impossible. When you hold the vision of what could be, when you embody potentials that haven't been fully realized yet, you're creating new pathways in the collective consciousness for others to follow. You're participating in the evolution of human consciousness itself. The 4-minute mile was broken because someone believed it was possible. Children use technology intuitively because the collective consciousness has integrated that capability. The next breakthrough in human potential is waiting for someone to believe in it, embody it, and make it accessible to everyone else. What breakthrough are you being called to make? What limitation are you being called to transcend? What new possibility are you being called to embody? Remember, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the collective consciousness. You're helping to upgrade the operating system of human potential. You are connected to infinite intelligence. You have access to all the wisdom, creativity, and capability that has ever been developed. You are part of a collective consciousness that is constantly evolving and expanding. Trust this connection. Use this understanding. Contribute to the upgrading of human consciousness. The children of today are showing us what's possible when we remember our connection to the collective consciousness. Now it's your turn to access that same field of infinite possibility. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonates, drop a comment with any epiphanies. These videos are made as a guide to help you reconnect with knowledge kept within you. Take what resonates within you and release the rest. Follow the page for more content and sign up for the Patreon for the opportunity to ask more personal questions and also hear longer form answers to all the biggest questions. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep shining your light.